Hey guys, it's Stephanie with Simarchy here, and I had a crazy morning. I'm still a bit shaken up over it, so we wanted to calm down by building a home and sharing what happened with you guys. So last night when I got home from work, it was pretty late, but when I got to my apartment, I heard some meowing, like from a cat or a kitten. But it was really dark and then, again, pretty late, so I figured it was maybe just the neighbor's cat, or I don't know. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I just went to bed and didn't think about it. This morning, I got woken up by my dad, and he told me one of the neighbors came by and said that he thinks there's a kitten stuck in my car. So I immediately just jumped out of bed, ran downstairs, and of course, we hear meowing coming from my car. Um, we opened all the doors and looked underneath and behind the wheels, and we just couldn't find anything, but we heard her crying. Like, she was obviously inside my car somewhere, freaking out. So I got down on the ground and I'm looking around, and we opened up the hood of the car, and I hear her, but I can't see her. So we grabbed a flashlight and start just looking everywhere we can. We turned the wheels of the car, trying to see if maybe she was stuck behind there, and just nothing. So the neighbors, of course, are kind of gathering around, and maintenance from the apartment is coming by, making sure we weren't working on the car in the yard, which I guess is a big no-no. And once they heard the cat crying, they were like, okay, we'll leave you alone, just, hurry up. And I was kind of shocked that they didn't want to help. I mean, I don't know if they're not allowed to help, but if I hear a kitten crying, I'm not just going to walk away or drive away. I mean, I don't know what they wanted me to do, but I had to go to work, so it was either get the kitten out of the car or, I don't know, I guess not go to work. But finally, another staff member stopped by, and I told him what was going on, and he was a lot nicer. I asked if he could call fire rescue or someone to help us, because at that point, I didn't even know if the kitten was hurt. I didn't know how old it was. I had no idea what was going on. I just hear this poor thing crying and crying and crying. So he calls one of the head staff, I believe, who owns a car dealership or car shop or something, and asked him if he could bring a jack by so we could jack up the car and try to find the kitten. And while we're waiting for him to come, sorry, I'm trying to build and talk at the same time. I need to calm down. Testing cheats enable true by debug. Okay, so while we're waiting, the staff member that was there decided to help us look for the kitten, and I finally saw part of the fur poking out. And he went down on one side and I went on the other, and we were trying to get her out. We couldn't really see her. We couldn't reach. We're going underneath the car, around the car, on top of the car, just trying to see if we could get her to come out on her own. And I saw how tiny she was. I mean, this was an itty bitty little tiny kitten, couldn't have been more than a week old. And I was just so happy that I could see her in her full, and that she was kind of walking around down there, just under, I don't even know what to call it, just like under the hood of the car, but down under the engine. So you could just see her, but you couldn't quite grab her. And after a little coaxing, we got her to go to one side of the car where we could see her a bit better. And the staff member reached down and finally got a hold of her and pulled her out. And as he's pulling her out, we have to be super careful because there's all sorts of wires and tubes, and, it's hard to maneuver her out of there. So for a good few minutes, he's just holding her from the bottom and just petting her and trying to calm her down so we could maneuver her out through all the workings of the car. So we got her out, and he tells me immediately he can't do anything with her. He has to go back to work. And of course, I volunteered to figure something out. I was just so happy that she was okay, because my first thought when I hear a cat crying stuck somewhere is that, maybe she's injured, maybe, her leg's stuck in something, maybe I ran her over. Like, every horrible thought that you can imagine went through my head. And I was just so relieved that she was okay. But she was pretty feisty. I mean, at one point when we were trying to get her out, she actually came out on her own, went from one side of the car to the other, and sprang back in there before we could even grab her. This was going on for hours, just hours trying to get her out of there. And I'm glad that she's okay. I'm glad that she was running around, and that really made me feel better that she at least was gonna survive. So I picked her up, and she's just scratching and hissing, and I'm bleeding. She's scratching my wrist and everything, and I just grabbed her and run upstairs and put her in my bathroom, put her in the bathtub, empty, of course, just put her in there because I didn't know what to do with her. And I have 2 cats already, so I thought they would attack her. I don't know what they would do, but they're older cats, and one of them is really mean, and they fight with each other as is. So I was afraid they were going to hurt this poor kitten. So I called my vet because I couldn't think of anywhere else to call, and they were super confused. I must have been really frantic because they kept asking me, if I wanted to get her treated. And I think once they realized that I was telling them that this isn't my cat, it's a cat that I found that I can't keep, they told me that I could bring her in and surrender her. So I put her in one of my cat carriers because, I have cats already. I'm a huge cat lover. One of my cats passed away about a year ago, so I happened to have an extra carrier, and I put her in there, and I brought her to the vet, and I told them, they could keep the carrier, and they assured me that one of the staff members would take her home and care for her until she was able to be adopted, because I was so scared that they were going to euthanize her, or I don't know. I don't know what they do with cats that they can't find homes for. I definitely didn't want to take her to a shelter that might actually be a kill shelter. So I'm really happy that they agreed to take her and take care of her. They had me fill out a form just saying that I found her, where I found her, and everything like that, and that I was surrendering her. And then they asked if I could give a donation, which I gladly gave them a donation to try to help cover the vet bills. It was only $20. I would have done more if I could. I would have kept her if I could. I mean, if my cats weren't 10 years old and mean and stuck in their ways, that cat would have been coming home with me and staying with me forever. But I don't know, that probably wouldn't have been a good idea, to be honest, because it's a baby. I mean, her eyes were barely open. She could not have been more than a few weeks old. So she definitely needs her mom or professional care. And I'm confident that, the people that work there at the vet are gonna give her what she needs and make sure that she's healthy and all that before they adopt her out or decide to keep her. I don't know. But yeah, now I'm really concerned because I don't know where she came from. Obviously, she has a mom somewhere and possibly some brothers and sisters. So I I have a feeling that she probably crawled into my car at work and got stuck in there. I don't know. I don't know why she wouldn't come out. Like, she was capable of coming out. She was just frightened. But we do have feral cats that live outside of my store. If you don't know, I own a clothing store. And in the back parking lot, right now there's 2 cats. There's usually more. But they live out back, and there is a restaurant in the plaza that I'm in, and the restaurant feeds them. So they live back there, I guess. I don't know. I guess they just live back there. I usually only see them at night, so they're probably hiding during the day or sleeping. But I remember there were kittens at one point when I first moved here, probably 5 years ago, because one of the local cat rescue ladies came by and told me that, this area is known for feral cats and people are known for dumping their cats back there. So just to keep an eye out, make sure they're not under my car. If I see any, not to bother them because they're afraid of humans. And if they have like a little nick or mark in their ear, that means that they've been captured and spayed or neutered and then released so that they don't keep populating the area. So she told me if I saw kittens or anything like that, just to keep her in the loop so they could come take care of them. But since then, I've only seen 2 cats, really. I don't know if they're boys or girls. I assume they're both boys, but now I'm wondering if maybe one is a girl. And maybe it's their kittens. I don't know. I just went out back and took a look around and didn't see anything. But when it gets darker is when they usually come out, so that's when I'll go look again and see if maybe there's more kittens back there. I don't know what I could even do at that point because they need to stay with their mom, and the vet's not going to do anything about it. I guess I could call the cat rescue lady and ask her advice, but I don't know if they're under other cars. I don't know if there's going to be more trying to get back under my car. I'm just paranoid now. I never want to hurt a kitten, and I mean, thank God she was okay. Thank God, I don't live very far from the store, so if that's what happened, which I think it is, if she got stuck here at the store and I drove home with her, it was only about a mile down the road, so thank God nothing happened. She could have got really hurt or injured or flown out or something. Sorry, I'm rambling. I don't even know what I'm building here. I just really needed to do something to get my nerves back down because I was still shaking. I'm all bruised up. I have scrapes on my knees, scrapes on my wrist from the cat and from, crawling on the ground, crawling on the asphalt, trying to get under the car, trying to reach up and grab her. I've got scrapes all over my knee. I mean, I was a mess. The second I took her to the vet, I went back home and showered and got to work a little bit late, but it's okay. But still visibly shaken. But the good news is, of course, that the kitten is going to be okay. And I just hope there's no more out there. I mean, I don't know where she came from. I really don't know where she came from. But I will do some more investigating and see if I could find more and see what I could do about it. But yeah, that's my cat story. Can't think of anything else to say about that. I will update you, if I hear anything else or find out if there are more kittens out there or if I hear anything from the vet. But when you surrender a cat, because I've had to do this before with, well, okay, here's another story. The same feral cats that live in the back, one day a cat appeared that I hadn't seen before. So I was trying to capture her because I could tell she was injured, but cats are very finicky, especially if they're scared or injured or if they've lived outside their whole lives. They just don't want any human contact unless you're feeding them, of course, but then they just want to be fed and left alone. So I noticed this cat just out of nowhere, and I wasn't sure if she had always been there and I never saw her or if someone dumped her or what, but she was obviously injured. She was missing like patches of fur all over her body, and she was just covered in bugs and fleas, and I was so worried. I wasn't sure what to do. I was trying to catch her, but she didn't want to be caught, and the other cats that live out there were very protective of her. They wouldn't let anyone get too close. So I don't even remember how I actually ended up catching her, but I did. I got her into a cat carrier, and I didn't know what to do with her again because, I can't take her home and risk my cats getting sick or attacking her or her attacking them. So I did find another vet at that time that was like a 24/7 emergency place. And the same thing, I surrendered her. They told me that they couldn't give me any information after I did that, but they would look over her and see what they could do with her. And I asked if they would, let me know if she was okay or if I could help get her adopted or anything, but they said no, once you surrender the cat, like, you're giving up all rights to the cat, like, they won't tell you anything. So I highly doubt I'll ever hear back about this kitten, but if I do, I will definitely update you. All right, but yeah, I love kitties. I love them so much. I've always had cats my whole life, and I would totally be the crazy cat lady if I had more space or, a bigger house, or I would love to have a cat rescue or something one day. Actually, a friend of mine is opening a cat rescue a few hours away. She is going to be opening a thrift store, and all the profits that the thrift store make are going to go towards saving and rescuing little kitties, which is really cool. I mean, I wish I had time and the money to do something like that. But yeah, I've always had cats. I only have 2 now, which is enough. I did have 3 for the past like 10 years. I've had 3 cats. 2 of them are brother and sister, but the brother passed away about a year or so ago. And the other one is just another cat that I adopted when they were maybe about a year old. So they all grew up together. So for the past 10 years, those are the 3 babies that I've had. And the one is really mean, so there's no way I could have another kitten. Like when the boy, his name is Chloe, I'll tell you that story in a second, but when Chloe passed away, of course, my first instinct was to get another kitten to make me feel better, but I knew that Lexi would probably kill it. I don't know, she's really mean. She doesn't even like her sister, and they've been together for 10 years, and she randomly attacks her, so I can't imagine what she would do if there was a little baby running around. I mean, maybe she would take care of it. I have no idea, to be honest. Maybe she would love a little baby, but I don't want to take the chances. Let me see. Let me get this. Oh, can you see okay? I don't even know what I'm building. I'm just making it up as I go, which I usually do anyway, but I'm a little bit preoccupied, of course. But yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, when Chloe passed away, it was very hard not to get another cat to try to make me feel better. But I knew that the girls would be fine, and they're fine. Of course, they miss their brother, but there's no need or room for another cat right now. What else can I put up here? But I don't know. Are you guys cat people? Are you dog people? Like, I guess since this episode's already about a kitten, I can tell you about my babies and how I got them, if you're interested in hearing. But you don't really have a choice because I'm going to tell it anyway, and you could listen or not listen. But yeah, like I said, I got my cats about 10 years ago. It was when I bought my first house, and my dad doesn't like cats. He's never liked cats, and he always told me, you know, stop buying cats. You could have your own cats when you have your own house. So of course, when I got my own house, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get all the cats that I want. But he ended up moving in, and even though it was my house, he kind of limited how many cats I could have, which I probably would have had a million if he didn't tell me no. But I did get Chloe and Lana when they were babies. One of the neighbors had kittens, and we saw the sign that there were free kittens, of course, so I went over to get one. And there was one kitten that I saw right away, and let's see, I'm gonna call him a her just for the time being so the story makes sense. But I thought she was the cutest little thing ever, and I wanted to take her home. But the neighbor told me that the other kitten, the gray one, was much more friendly and loved to be pet, and that I should take her home. So I said, okay, I'll take this one if that's the one you recommend. So I took her home, and I don't know, not even an hour maybe later, I couldn't stop thinking of the first kitten that I saw, the little white one with a little calico mixed in, had a cute little patch on her nose, and I just couldn't stop thinking of her, so I said, you know what, I'm getting 2 kittens. I went back and got her as well. And then a friend of ours went and got one of the other kittens too, so we had 3 of them pretty much between us. And I thought they were both girls, so I thought I had 2 little girls, and I named them Chloe and Lana, which are characters from the TV show Smallville, you know, about Superman growing up. And, sorry, I'm saying and a lot. I'm thinking about the house and trying to talk at the same time, which is pretty hard. I think this bathroom's good for now. Did I miss anything? Maybe try to put a shower in here too. So yeah, I had Lana and Chloe, and they were maybe 8 months old, and they were playing around, which they always did. I mean, they're babies. They like to play and mess around. Um, my friend was over and she goes to me, "What are your cats doing?" And I said, "Oh, they're playing. They always do that." And she goes, "I don't think they're playing." I wasn't sure what she was talking about. And then I said, "Oh, what do you think they're doing?" So she thought that they were trying to, make kitty love. And I said, "No, that's impossible. They're both girls." So I pick up Chloe, and he's got super, super long hair. And I'm feeling around trying to figure out if it's a boy or a girl. Sorry, that's really gross. But I felt something, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is a boy. Like, I told my friend, "Come feel it. Does this feel like it's a boy?" And she said, "No, no, no. I'm not touching your cat like that." So they were about that age where they should have been spayed or neutered anyway. So I took them to the vet, and my vet did confirm that Chloe was in fact a boy. Such a pretty boy, but he is a boy and Lana was a girl. So they were, I don't know, I guess brother was trying to get some action, which is really gross, but they're cats, they don't know any better. But yeah, so his name was already Chloe. I couldn't change it after 8 months. I did give him the nickname, though, of Monkey, because he looks like a little spider monkey. Mostly white with a little bit of calico, and like I said, he's got that little calico patch on his nose that makes him look like a spider monkey. And he was my favorite. He was the sweetest kitten that you would ever meet. I mean, cat, I guess he was older by then. I call my cats kittens anyway, but just the sweetest little thing in the entire world. Not a bad bone in his body. I mean, always wanted to be cuddled. Very sweet to his sisters. He would let them eat first. He would give them baths and make sure that they were okay. And he started having breathing problems when he was maybe 7 or 8 years old. He would wheeze a lot and sneeze and just sniffle and just have a hard time breathing. So I took him to several different vets. He's my baby. I would have spent anything and done anything to make sure he was healthy. And all the vets couldn't really figure out what was wrong with him. They thought maybe allergies, maybe asthma, but they couldn't quite pinpoint it. So we ran several tests. I mean, thousands of dollars worth of tests trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And they would scare me and say, "Oh, maybe it's cancer, maybe he has a growth in his nose, maybe he has a tumor," just going to the worst possible scenarios. And I paid probably, I think it was around like $8,000 or $10,000 worth of tests across several different vets trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And they never figured it out, and they didn't really treat him, so the poor boy was just suffering. So I finally was at my wit's end, and I said, I'm not going to take him to any more specialists. I'm just going to try somewhere else, and just a regular vet, start from scratch. Don't tell them, everything that's been going on. Just tell them that he can't breathe and see what they recommend. So my sister lived in a rougher part of town, but she did have a vet that she went to, and she told me to try them. So I took him in and told him his symptoms, and the first thing they said was, yeah, it's either asthma or it's breathing problems. Asthma or allergies, which of course other people said, but tried to scare me about it. And they said they could give him a steroid shot, and the steroid shot would help him breathe, of course, and they would be able to tell, if it's helping or not, and at least be able to treat it if they can't figure out exactly what it is. So they gave him the steroid shot, and, he cleared out pretty quickly, and it lasted for quite a while. So the only option that they really suggested was to keep him on the steroids, but in a liquid form. And they did warn me that, this will help him be comfortable and help him breathe, but it's not really a permanent solution. He's still going to have underlying problems, and the steroids are eventually going to, wear away at his organs and such, because it's not good to be on steroids for the rest of your life, but he would at least be comfortable and be happy. So of course I agreed, and they gave me the liquid form, which I had to give him every other day in the morning, which was horrible because if you try to give a cat medicine through a dropper, yeah, it's not easy. But he would drink it, get mad at me, and then 5 minutes later just be a happy little cat again. And a few years later, he did eventually pass away. They couldn't really confirm that it was from the steroids, but he had a heart problem, and I don't know. I don't remember the exact details because I was so upset. I don't even think I listened to what the vet said, but he something burst in his heart, I think, and he was dying, and they said they had to put him down or he was going to suffer. And of course, I said, yes, please put my baby out of his misery. And I got to say goodbye, and they gave him the shot, and he passed away. And it was very sad, and it was very hard because I also had recently lost my mother. But gosh, this is getting really depressing. But I guess my point is, after that happened, I wanted another cat, but again, the girls, Lana and Lexi, I don't think that would have been good for them to have a kitten around because they were already like 9 years old at that point, I think, 8 or 9. And it's hard to introduce a new animal when they're used to things being a certain way. But Lexi, the mean one, I got her, like I said, about a year after I got Lana and Chloe. And I went to a local pet store and saw a kitten and immediately fell in love with her. And they told me she was kind of like the runt of the litter and that all her brothers and sisters got adopted besides her, and they were looking for a home. But at the time, she was kind of just like the cat that roamed the store, not necessarily the shop's pet, but, just a cat who had been there for a while. And I tried to take her home, and my dad just freaked out and said, no, you can't have any more cats because I had 2 already. Actually, we might have had more. I think at that point, my sister also moved in, and they had a cat. And I think my mom had a cat. I don't know. We had a lot, but I only had 2 that were actually mine. So he said, no, please don't bring her home. And I was upset, but ultimately agreed, fine, I'm not going to bring this cat home. And a few months later, I was at the movie theater because the new Superman movie had come out. And not even halfway through, I get a text from my sister. And it's a picture of a little kitten in her lap. And the message read, look what I got you. And I was so happy. I freaked out. I left the movie, even though I had been dying to see this movie. I left the theater just in the middle of the movie to go home and see the little kitten. And she didn't know. She didn't know which cat or which pet store I had gone to previously when I wanted the cat. She had no idea. And it just so happened that this cat that she brought home looked a lot like the one that I saw at the pet store previously and fell in love with. And I had a picture of her, of course, because I thought she was so cute. And I pulled up the picture and compared the stripes on her face and asked her where she got her, and she confirmed it was the same pet store. And it was her. It was the kitten that I wanted. She never got adopted. She was there for months later. And I guess she was waiting for me because when my dad saw that my sister brought a cat home, he didn't say a word. He wouldn't let me bring one, but when my sister brought it, he didn't care. He would never tell her no. So I ended up getting Lexi anyway. It was meant to be. She was supposed to be my little baby kitten. And she was very sweet. I don't know what happened, but over the years she's become really mean and really touchy. Like if you touch certain parts of her back or her paws anywhere, she just gets really mad and attacks you. Even if you're petting her and she's like rubbing on you and wants to be pet, if you accidentally touch one of those areas, yeah, she freaks out. She will hurt you really bad. But I still love her. She's still my baby. But that is the reason I cannot bring another cat home. One of the main reasons I can't bring another cat home. Okay, I'm building, I guess, the master bedroom here. I need something to go kind of between the windows here. Maybe a bookshelf. I think I'll put a bookshelf here. stop rambling about cats for a bit. And I've definitely calmed down. I already feel better. I'm not shaking anymore. It feels good just to talk about it. It's kind of cute. I didn't really know what I was building. I just wanted to build. But now it looks like this is going to be a family home, I guess. Got a bedroom, a bathroom, another bedroom, a living room, and then this area in the middle here. I know there has to be a kitchen somewhere. I always like a little door coming out from the kitchen into the backyard. Did I leave? Oh, I didn't leave room for a yard. I wasn't really paying attention. I guess we could do a side yard. Hold on, I'm gonna put a fence around the property so I can see the grid, but I can't exactly tell what I did here. So we'll put a fence around here to see what we have to work with. I do try to leave a few squares in the front because I've had routing problems with Sims getting stuck, like just random Sims walking in the neighborhood getting stuck if I have the fence all the way out towards the grass. But this, I don't know, this video's gone, I don't know how long it's been exactly, but it's definitely gone longer than I planned, and I'm not even close to finishing the home. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to go back and finish the home, and the rest of the video will be a speed build. Otherwise, this is going to be ridiculously long, and I'll just put some music in the background. So if you're curious to see how this house ends up, keep watching, and you probably won't even notice the transition, but when I come back, this will be a speed build for the rest of the video. Thanks for listening to my crazy cat lady stories, and I will see you guys next time. Enjoy!